Nice shirt. Do you happen to bring my knife by any chance?
Don't worry, Rebecca, I found it.
WTF! WTF!
I thought it couldn't have got any worse after Crown Jewel, but then last night's SmackDown Live proved that absolutely, completely, utterly wrong. WWE are trying to kill me by giving me a heart attack, and they might just succeed in a few weeks' time. We'll have to see how this plays out. I'm Ross from Cultaholic.com. You're a sexual wank pheasant, and welcome to all of these WTF moments from SmackDown Not So Live, because of course, we're in Manchester last night. It was taped, it was edited. There should be no WTF moments, but they're lazy asses, aren't they? So there is. Lots of Cultaholic signs at SmackDown Live last night. Manchester is a cultaholic town. Thank you to Josh Short, Ollie Gould, Security Guard Dean, Oliver Goldsworthy, Joshua Sculfer, and Frankie Crosswell, and many, many more. Like them people up there, next time you go to a WWE event, spread the good name of Cultaholic throughout the WWE universe. And if those signs wasn't a big enough clue that Manchester, England is a cultaholic town, what happened in the early stages of the show just proves that Manchester, England knows what's going down. Knows what's going down. Now, heading into last night's SmackDown Live, I just knew that Shane McMahon, who of course is the best professional wrestler on God's green planet Earth, would have got booed out of the building thanks to the other crap housery that happened at WWE Cock and Bollocks in Saudi Arabia. But of course, because we live in a world of candy floss and delusion when it comes to Colonel McSweaty Bollocks, I fully expected Kevin Dunn to give Shane McMahon's entrance the big dog treatment. Oh, it's nice to say that again. By muting the crowd or putting cheers over the top of them, but thank God Kevin Dunn didn't do that, and I felt really nice because the boos, they were deafening. Oh, I didn't realise that Pinocchio grew up to become a delusional, sweaty, middle-aged dad after he became a real boy, because Shane McMahon claimed that with all of the lovely talent on SmackDown Live, he doesn't actually believe he's the best in the world. You have got to be taking the piss. Shane, you tell what you've just said there to Kevin Owens, to AJ Styles, to The Undertaker, and to Brock Bastard Lesnar, who you stood up to at SummerSlam 2016 like the big hard boy you are. You tell that to all of those actual professional wrestlers after we saw you getting booked into matches where you went toe-to-toe with these actual professional wrestlers like an actual professional wrestler only could. Shane, man, we all know that when you were younger and in your prime, you were never ever a legitimate member of the WWE roster in the traditional sense, and all of a sudden, back in 2016, you came back, you had some manly lumps on your arms, you were sweating like a bitch, you'd been down to the leisure centre to do some karate a few nights a week, and you thought you were better than the best from the generation before, the generation you were from, and the generation after for some reason, and we had to go along with it. Basically, after saying that, you're a wind-up merchant, and I hate you. Oh, so I get it now. Shane McMahon putting himself in that World Cup final was him acting on instinct. He literally couldn't think of anything else to do other than putting himself into the final of a tournament he was never in. Oh, how noble, you national treasure. Now, I don't know about you, but my less self-centered, realistic, and rule-abiding self would have called it Rey Mysterio, the man who The Miz beat to get that World Cup final to take the place of The Miz, who was now injured. But then again, of course, I'm not a sweaty, middle-aged, delusional man who thinks he's the best professional wrestler in the world, even if he claims he doesn't. We know what's going on in there, Shane. We know what's going on. Paige, what are you doing? You claim that Survivor Series will see, and I quote, the newly crowned Raw Tag Team Champions, AOP, facing off against The Big Show and The Bar. Roughly translated back into English, of course, as the newly crowned Raw Tag Team Champions AOP facing off against The Big Show and The Bar. So it's going to be a 2-on-3 handicap match, is it? But I've been on Wikipedia, which of course is the best source of information in the entire world because literally anybody can edit it, and that claims it's going to be a normal tag team match with Akam and Razor against Swiss Tony and Big Daddy Sheamus. So what's true, Paige, yeah? Oh, of course, he's sticking with that ultimatum bollocks as well. Now just look at that forehead glisten. Let me paint a horrible bastard picture for you. Shane McMahon was going to fire the SmackDown Live superstar from that World Cup final if that SmackDown Live superstar lost that World Cup final, while keeping the SmackDown Live superstars who lost in the preliminary rounds of the World Cup in their jobs, because that makes complete and utter sense. So tell me this, Shane, if you lost that World Cup final, were you going to fire yourself? Of course you weren't, because that match was never in doubt, was it? Because you're the best in the world. Oh. So on Monday's Raw, we had big baldy bastard Baron Corbin picking Braun Strowman to be part of his men's Survivor Series team because, of course, after what happened at WWE Cock and Bollocks in Saudi Arabia, that's going to end old tickety-boo, isn't it? And now on last night's SmackDown Live, we have Colonel McSweaty Bollocks himself picking both Daniel Bryan and The Miz to be his co-captains for Survivor Series because after the last 8 years of history between those two, they're two peas in a pod, aren't they? They're cut from the same cloth. They're besties. It's going to end old tickety-boo, isn't it? Why are these authority figures so stupid? If I was Vince, I would just get rid of the incompetent numpties, wouldn't I? And now it's time for this.
Wankety wank, wankety wank, wankety wank, wankety wank. Wankety wank, wankety wank, wankety wank.
Hello and welcome to Wankety Wank, the section of WTF Moments where just like on blankety blank you fill in the blanks with... So in the opening stages of last night's SmackDown Live, we saw The Miz claim he never takes any time off, he never gets any injuries, and according to one Flim, I think I said that right, The Miz apparently took 2 months off after a WrestleMania that I've completely forgotten. 28. This could be true, it could be false, but I trust in my sexual wank pheasants because we're all wholesome, lovely people. Oh, for God's sake. Now, I get The Miz doing it, he's a kiss-arse heel, he's excused from this point, but Daniel Bryan picking the best professional wrestler in the world as his first Survivor Series pick? Oh, God. Now, the reason for Daniel Bryan picking Shane McMahon to be his number one at Survivor Series is because nobody has more on the line at Survivor Series than Shane McMahon, and because nobody cares more than Shane McMahon. If that logic applies, Daniel Bryan, why the hell do I not play for Newcastle United in England? I bet large sums of money on Newcastle United in England, and I really care about Newcastle United in England, but guess what? I don't play because I'm out of shape, I'm old, I'm grey, and I'm sweaty. I'm just like Shane McMahon. And you've just got to wonder why Daniel Bryan picked Colonel McSweaty Bollocks first, because at the time he said that, the following superstars had nothing to do with Survivor Series. He could have had Rey Mysterio, Samoa Joe, Andrade Cien Almas, Chris Jericho apparently, Luke Harper, Jeff Hardy, Kane, Randy Orton, Rusev, Shelton Benjamin. Good Lord, do I need to continue? In fact, I don't want to continue. Driver, stop the world. I need to get off. So the new day are going back to, insert town name rather than, insert crown jewel, just in case nobody realises we're actually in Saudi Arabia where we shouldn't be. Now, I believe there's people who work for WWE who believe that the New Day doing that last week conned people into thinking they weren't actually in Saudi Arabia and they're in Wrexham or Bournemouth or somewhere random like that. Imagine being one of those people. How sad must life be? I cannot believe me eyes, everybody. When The Miz was on the phone, he was actually on the phone, unless, of course, he took a screenshot of the phone screen that shows when you're on the phone and then just put that picture on when he was trying to be on the phone. But still, he looked like he was on the phone, and when people on WWE are on the phone, it never looks like they're on the phone. And he was on the phone. I'm confused. And then a wild Nikki Cross appeared from absolutely nowhere, and that's absolutely fantastic, but I can't help but think, after the way that Sanity have been booked on the main roster since graduating to the main roster a few months ago, she's buggered, isn't she? I'm scared for her, but she has proved that she's very much different than anything we've ever seen before on the main roster in WWE, in the female ranks, and on NXT in recent times. She has proved she can be the star of an entire brand, so good luck! Made a grave mistake, Corey. So Corey Graves hopes that Becky Lynch has a rabies vaccine. Nikki Cross is not an animal, Corey. She's a real woman. So Tom Phillips claimed that Zelina Vega wasn't at last night's SmackDown Live because she was attending other managerial duties, which is roughly translated to, of course, when Andrade Cien Almas doesn't have to cut a promo, which is not that important, so let's save ourselves an airfare, shall we? Manchester. I have no idea if those lights are on all year round, but if Tom Phillips was right in saying that you're in the Christmas spirit, shame on you. That shot there is from November the 6th, 2018. It's still basically summer, for Christ's sake. The festive bake's not even out yet, man. Tomorrow, though. So hang on a second, SmackDown Live. You're telling me that it's fine for Colonel McSweaty Bollocks to insert himself in a World Cup final he should never have been in when Charlotte Flair doesn't turn up for her Survivor Series unveiling and Mandy Rose tries to insert herself in the team? She can't. Paige is stood there looking all matronly and condescending going, Mandy, you silly sausage, what are you doing? To me, at least, one's a way bigger deal than t'other. It just doesn't seem fair on Mandy Rose at all. Paige! Sort it out, man. Stop. Everything you're doing, put everything down. Stop, look, and listen. Daniel Bryan put the best professional wrestler in the world on his arse with a hip toss that required him to have eyes in the back of his bastard head. I mean, this is it. We've finally reached the end of civilization as we know it. I know we've been saying the end is now, the end is now, the end is now for about 2 years now, but we've finally reached this point. The best professional wrestler in the world put on his arse by a man who was facing the other way. It's been nice knowing you all, but see ya. The end is nigh, the end is nigh, time to run away, the end is nigh. It's not the end, we're still going. As we all know, WWE do 2 UK tours every single year, one in the spring, one in the winter. One of them's happening right now. Why the hell was there less than 5,000 people at last night's SmackDown Live, forcing WWE to do what 5-star wrestling should have done by relocating every single fan from the hard cam side of the arena to the side facing the hard cam to make it look fuller. But then again, WWE didn't come to the home of professional wrestling Cultaholic, and me, Newcastle upon Tyne on this tour. It's not a real tour, is it? I can't blame the people for not going. And now it's time for a new segment here on these WTF moments. It's time for the WWE are talking complete and other bollocks ahead of Survivor Series because Raw and SmackDown superstars have faced each other at the Royal Rumble, at WrestleMania and Crown Jewel, and a myriad of other events. Totalizer. Play the thing. The WWE are talking complete and other bollocks ahead of Survivor Series because Raw and SmackDown superstars have faced each other at the Royal Rumble, at WrestleMania and Crown Jewel, and a myriad of other events. Totalizer. So of course, recently we've been hearing the same old tired bollocks. It's the one time a year that Raw and SmackDown Live superstars go head to head, which is wrong because they do it all the time. Last week we had a World Cup final against a Raw wrestler and a SmackDown god. So how many times did they do this mistake last night? 3. And that's it for your WTF moments from last night's SmackDown Live. I've been Ross from Cultaholic.com. Thank you very much for being a sexual wank pheasant. I hope they stop this shame up man bollocks or I won't be here too much longer. See you later. Follow me on Twitter at RossOnWrestling. Pledge to our Patreon, patreon.com/Cultaholic. Any thought to give us would be greatly appreciated and we'll love you forever. But most importantly of all, don't forget to join us on all of the social medias that we have.